All right, guys, I want to get into Dolphins versus Jaguars, the three drives that we saw in the preseason game. It's a little late, but I still think that there's really great data points and some good stuff to keep our eyes on. And I want to focus not on players suck or they're great or anything to that effect. I want to focus on tells.
It was worth it to discover his talent.
What do you mean?
Now, what I mean by tells is I want you to think of this as if you're a defensive coordinator or a player and you're watching and you're trying to find weaknesses in players' games. And then that DC and players are going to build a book to take on that offense. So there's good stuff here. I'm going to get into some other things beyond the tells. But I'm going to go over all those plays and show you where I saw some flaws, where I saw success. And I think that you'll also see clearly why Farrell Brown was cut. And it's going to make a big difference if we can get that tight end in here to fix it. So let's get into the film and see what we see. All right, the first play, we know what that deal is. Nice little screenplay to Washington, wiped away by Jonah, getting downfield before the catch. Rookie stuff, not a big deal. He'll fix that, kind of move on. All right, on this one, it's the early pressure. You see instant pressure, and you can say, oh, it's the blocking, but really, it's more than that. You see the line call was to the left. They blitzed two to the right. That's not a winning formula at all. But get into it a little bit here. I just want to look at Jonah quick. You see him reaching, gets the hand swipe, gets off balance. If they had done a stunt to come back inside instead of dropping, could have been a problem, but this was a quick play. But I just want to take a look at his technique. It's still a little raw. Here, focus on Borum. Borum starts chasing instead of holding his ground. He's going to get help back in just a second or two from Daniels. But if he'd held his ground and taken care of the right blitzer, he could have made the other guy run around the horn, and maybe this play could have got off quick enough. But he chases, which is never good. Opens it up even quicker to the blitzer. I understand you take the inside guy, but you don't want to chase. Now, this one was a nice play. Quick little pass. Washington, good job. Protection's good. Blocking's pretty decent. But look at Daniels. Just want to focus on him for a second. It doesn't affect the play, but we're going to work on his tells. And you can see it right here. Jonah's reaching a little bit. That's not a problem, but it's not a winning formula. And you see Daniels. He gets his hands to the outside. He's going against Mason Smith here. He was a second-round pick. He's talented, big guy, 6'6", 315. So he's got a long reach. Not so good yet, but he's got his hands on the outside. Mason's got the hands on the inside, which is never a winning for him. He's a big guy, just like Daniels. Gets into Daniels. The leg starts flopping. He's got a straight leg, totally out of balance, and gets driven back. And then he gets washed, swum, and it doesn't affect the play, but if two had to pull it back, then it could have been a problem, but something to keep your eyes on. Here's another one. This is the sack with the three-man pressure, and there's a lot of problems here. We'll get into it. Now, I want you to notice Jonah and Paul and Borum. Jonah's moving too hard to the right to help out Brewer, and you can see Paul, he's leaning to the right a little too hard. This is one of his tells, his tendencies. And then Borum, look at his stance, really wide. That's not an athletic position. Now, see all that space right there? That's what Paul's trying to guard. If Jonah sees it right there, but it's too late. He doesn't feel the help, so he's leaning too hard. The feet are close. That's not balance. Defender shoots inside, makes him even lean harder, and it's the in-out, which is a little bit of a kryptonite to Paul. It's only bad play of really the preseason, but then he gets the hands around the neck. That should have been a holding call, but it wasn't. And it started from his focus on the inside. But I want to come back to Borum. He's not going to affect the play, but just to get his skill set. You can see he puts the hands up, gets the hands pushed back, and now he gets the swipe. And you'll see this again. He gets thrown to the side. And this guy gets into play late, doesn't affect it, but this could be a problem down the road. This is one of his weaknesses, the out, hard out, and then the in. But you can see clearly right here, Paul generates the pressure. Tua sees it clearly. I think Borum could have pushed his guy out of the way if Tua had done his job, which is step up more calmly. This is where Tua fails. He gets all worked up. He sees Brewer in front of him. Washington's deep on the out. That might not have been an easy play. Maybe he didn't want to throw it. There's a guy lurking in a corner, but he should have just kept on going to that spot, run to it. Instead, he cuts it back, and then Borum's guy on the comeback gets in on the sack, or gets the sack. And so you can see how that tendency of Borum plays out, even though it didn't affect their last play. So this is a run play. Nice blocking inside. Really nice play call. You get the two guys coming down the line of scrimmage, Kanatana, and Daniels. Everything's blocked up pretty nice inside. No complaints at all on that. Real nice job. It's a counter. Got that numbers in your favor. But Daniels, he's too hard inside. I think maybe he's aiming for the linebacker, but then he realizes, oops, I'm not going to get him. And then the end right there splits him. You can see right here, Daniels' eyes back. And this guy sucks up both those blockers just a little too long, where if Daniels met him head up, Kanatana could have got to the second level quicker, and that linebacker, who had a decent shoot but a little late, might not have been there, and then Ollie could have turned it up north, and he would have been one-on-one with that cornerback, and it could have been a much bigger play. Nice play overall, but so close to being a big play. Just that little bit by Daniels, I think, shifted this thing to a nice play from a very good play. So you got pressure here. And this is really, you're going to keep seeing Farrell Brown being a big issue. Farrell Brown just lets him get outside. Daniels, he takes an inside instead of outside pursuit, so he can't help him. But Farrell just lets him outside too quickly. Then the pressure gets in here. And Tua gets on the move. And that's a failing by Daniels and Farrell Brown. But you can see, again, you see the outside come back in. And he joins in on the play for the two-man sack. So that really was mostly on Farrell Brown, a little bit on Daniels, and then just a poor rep in some ways by Borum. Here you can see Jonah reaching again, just reaching out wide. And it's not going to affect the play, but it's something that you'll see him continually do. So they slide left again, but take a look at Daniels here. He's got bad balance. He's not moving laterally. He's just out of position. And again, he if he had held his spot and played it with balance, keeping his eyes upfield, he could have passed him off to Brewer and came back and picked up this blitzer. But because he turns his back, he doesn't see it. So the poor technique, it doesn't affect the play. But it does make it more difficult. But thankfully, Ollie Gordon gets in there. You don't want to do that. You can get a stinger on that. Not great form, but great commitment. Guy's a powerful guy. Just keep your head up. Nice throw under pressure, but there's no one there. You just kind of got to get rid of it. So you can see how the problems developed there. The slide left, the blitz right, and then Daniels biting too hard, just turning his back to the side of the play. He's got to have him play with more balance and be more patient. He should have known that Brewer was coming back to help him out. Here's another one. And Daniels, again, he's getting a big boy in him. He's got his hands outside, not inside. Not the greatest technique, not terrible. He's going against Jordan Jefferson, big guy, 6'4", 317, fourth-round pick. Had a decent season last year. So he's not, this guy's not garbage. But you can see him here. Got the hands outside. He's starting to break down, getting driven off. Doesn't affect the play, but we're seeing repetitions of this. And if the play drags out longer, then it could be a problem down the road. But Tua gets it off. Nice pass to Washington. Quick one, 1.5 seconds. But you don't want to see that kind of depth. Daniel's driven back at that kind of depth. Run game here, inside run. Highlight Borum a little bit. This could have been a big play, but for little things. So Borum, he's going down the line. He puts his foot in the ground. That's a nice job getting up there. And then turning the guy out. He's smaller than him, but then he gets washed off at the end. But really, I think it's Washington misses the block inside. Not easy block. But if Farrell Brown had done his job, there would have been more space. And Ollie Gordon would have been tripped up. So again, Farrell Brown struggles. And this could have been a big play. We really need a blocking tight end. Somebody who can manage those blocks. Another run play. Nice run inside. Just take a little quick look at some of the little things here you can see. I just wanted to just let you know, you probably know already, this is outside zone. You could tell because the aiming point of the running back, the tackle, and all the guys sliding. So those are two ways. You probably know, but just want to throw it out there. So this could have been a nice play, but you can see Paul and Jonah, they overshoot, and then they got to turn back. So they weren't patient enough, and the pressure gets in there. And Ollie, better players might have got Ollie, but Ollie's speed and power is able to get past 92 and 48. Jonah's reaching. They're all pulling back. It's slowing down the blocks. Nice run by Ollie. And then he picks up some good yards, but this could have been a much bigger play. We'll take a look here. If Jonah had just been a little bit more patient, put his hand into the guy, maybe a little bit better angle, he could have pushed 92 off out of the play, then got to 48, and that would have been a really nice play. And then Paul wouldn't have had to turn back. And then Paul could have picked up 50, who ends up being a big part of the play. But, of course, Pharaoh Brown screwing it up at the top. We'll get into that in a second. Right there, 50's picked up. He can take a harder angle upfield, and then maybe, Pharaoh Brown's guy doesn't make that tackle or is not in on a play. And then it's just him versus 37. And who knows what's going to happen with that. So it's another play where something big could have happened. But you see Pharaoh Brown just fails right there again. And Ollie Gordon makes a nice play out of it, but it could have broke. It was just a little bit here, a little bit there. Watch Pharaoh Brown. He's got to push him outside. He got his hands through the helmet. Gets thrown off like a dirty diaper again. And so that's why he's gone. Here's another play action. You see Daniels getting driven back a little bit. Doesn't affect the play so much. Really comes down to Ollie missing that block there. Outside, aiming the outside point so he can loop around, drive his two outside, and then it's not really Daniels' fault that the end gets out there because it should have been settled in the center of the pocket, just a little drifting to the right and get the ball out. But then Tua's guy takes the hit because of the missed block by Ollie, and he just got to kind of throw the football. Almost caught it. Almost put it there. So this is a pass play. Pretty good blocking. Borum lets him to the outside again. It doesn't affect the play. Maybe realize how quick the play is. I'm not going to kill him for it, but it's kind of something we see from him. Tua gets the ball out. Tana makes a decent cut, pretty good cut for a tight end. And then the ball is just, this is a play he should make, but it's a hard catch, and Tua could have put it a little bit better, so they drop it, so that's an incompletion. And you can see here the double blitz. 50 is going to drop. 48 is going to blitz. Nice job. And then you're going to see Brewer do a really good job. Like, he's caught in a no man's land. That's where he is. And you see he's got his eyes upfield. He's got balance. He puts a hand on 93. Slow him down so Ollie can come and pick this thing up. A really good job by Brewer on this one. A lot of patience, poise, and balance. I really liked his job here. See, just that little microsecond, a little micro action changed a lot. Gordon puts his shoulder. Nice job. Tua throws over him. Very, very congested window. And then drops it into Waddle. Makes the catch. Good play. Really nice play by Brewer. All right, just take a look. This is something we don't really see much of. Look how tight that box is. This is good for us, especially when you got Hill in and stuff. So it was kind of a different look from the usual book that we got. Maybe they're just playing around with it because it's preseason. Just wanted to point that out. This is what we want to see, though. A run game, and we get the nice run. Could have, a little bit here could have made it better, but I want to focus on two tandem blocks. Really, really good. Look at Westbrook. Put his shoulder in 50, who's a much bigger guy than him. And then look at Jonah, riding with the hand, eyes on at the next level. Westbrook passes him, his guy off the pole, picks him up perfectly. Jones got the hand, still helping Brewer get full positioning, and then gets upfield. But he makes one little mistake. He stops. I know it's hard getting to these small guys, but if he just kept his feet moving, he could have picked them up, and it's been a much bigger gain. But then he loses his ability to start and restart. 48's just more agile, lighter, gets around. Still a great run. But it clogs it up for everybody to get in there. But if that block had happened, it would have been another one-on-one, just a little bit here or there. And then there's a run inside. Pharaoh Brown screws it up. He gets hit, totally destroyed, kind of slows Paul down a little bit. See, Jonah, he's getting pushed back. He's not in a good position. It's not easy to do. He's got the defender's hands in the numbers, but he gets control again. Watch him get his hands inside, fighting. This is a real nice job. Not easy when a big guy's shooting at you like that. It was expected to go out wider, but Pharaoh Brown's bad block forces back inside. When that compromises Jonah's job. So nice job by Jonah, terrible job by Pharaoh. This is the big one. We all know this one. This was a nice little agile play. He's wide open, but it's not easy throw. But this kind of will change some of the books because they're going to say, hey, we're going to blitz. We're not blitzing these slow guys at Tua because look what he's doing here. And so that was a good play, but obviously the best part of the play. Oh, man, look at Washington juke this guy out of his shorts. Nice block down the field. I can't see who that was. I mean, that's kind of. And then just a nice cutback inside by Washington. Really, this guy has shown himself to be a real stud. So that's the whole deal. Look, they're the second round. Most of these guys are backups. And so there was that. But there's a lot of stuff when you go through this. A little bit here, a little bit there. It would have changed a lot. My only concern or my only unhappiness is it wasn't enough drive blocking and power blocking. There's a lot of smoke and mirrors and movement and gap blocking, which is fine. But you still got to get the junk in the trunk to move these guys. But you could see with what we like to do with this motion blocking, there's a lot to be desired because if we can get a tight end in here who can block and a few little hiccups here or there could be picked up, fixed, there could be some real explosive plays. Obviously, we got to see how it plays out. There's some little tendencies here on the guys. You saw on Daniels, you saw on Jonah, a little bit on Paul. But still, we don't have Jackson in. And it's going to get more difficult when they game plan against us and the talent goes up. But still, it's not as bad as it looks when you really break it down. Just a little bit here or there. But again, the difference between talent does complicate the eval. So overall, that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Curtis saying, be well, go Fins. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.